Hey, this is Cameron. Welcome back to the Busy Gardener channel. Today we are going to do something really exciting. Late June, we are going to harvest some boysenberries. Let's get busy. Boysenberries are one of these yummy berries. They're really tasty. As if you've had them before, they're like a blackberry, but with a little bit more tartness to them. Gosh, I think they're a mix between a blackberry and a loganberry, if I remember correctly. And so as the story goes, Walter Knott of Knott's Berry Farm fame was on the property of Rudolph Boysen. And Rudolph Boysen, he had this farm and he had these couple of just decrepit bushes sitting in the corner of his farm. And Walter Knott saw these things and went and planted them, propagated them, and essentially put the boysenberry on the map. These berries are incredible. And they're very unique flavored too. They're not like a standard blackberry. I love making them into a jam or preserves. That's another thing Knott's Berry Farm is really famous for. As well as, making, actually the reason I'm up here right now is to harvest a bunch to make into a boysenberry pie. And so got my colander ready. I'm gonna take this thing, I'm gonna fill this up and see how we do on our boysenberry harvest. Let's look up close at some of these things. These boysenberries, you see a lot of them have just been, as the temperatures have heated up, are ripening and look just so incredible. When you're picking boysenberries, you'll notice that you've got some that are like a lighter red, kind of a medium red, then you've got these darker ones that look like a wine color. You're looking really ideally for something that's almost, I'm gonna try to get this in the sun so you can see it, something that's this color or even darker. Another way to tell if a boysenberry is ripe is to look and see if these little, I don't even know what these call, these little bubbles here, the individual little seeds. You want these to be like very separated. If they're very tight, then regardless of the color, they're probably not quite ripe. So you notice that these here are very tight. They're all really close together. This one kind of also. But let's find one that we think is, I think this one is probably really ripe. Another way you can tell is they should come off with just a little bit of pulling pressure. I was making the mistake before of taking and kind of popping them off this way, and you can get them to pop off that way without breaking the stem, but this is going to be a very immature, unripe one compared to this beautiful one over here. So even though it came off, you want it to come off by pulling straight down on it with very little pressure, and that usually is an indicator that something is ripe. But look at all of these. I'm going to get harvesting. Oh my goodness, this one, if this isn't a perfect example of a ripe one, I don't know what is. Oh my goodness, look at how separated those things are. This is gonna be so yummy. I'm gonna try all of these, you're gonna see it. So first I'm gonna try the medium one, the one that I think is ripe, but I'm not 100% sure about. Yeah, it's good. This would be a really good one, a good stage to put it in some sort of preserve because it's not quite there, but any of the sugars, well, one, it has pectin, like a naturally occurring pectin in it, so it's going to help to solidify and firm up a jelly or a jam. But it's a little tart, and so putting it in a preserve, if you're going to use sugar like you usually ought to, that's going to cover up for some of that. So the flavor's all there, just not entirely sweet. Here's one that I know is immature. Let me taste this one though, which I just popped off. Not bad. I mean, if you're out here hunting for berries to put in to preserve or into some sort of pie, that's okay. Eaten fresh, it's not as good. This one, I'm expecting flavor. I'm expecting sweetness, fully developed flavor. That is what a boysenberry is supposed to taste like. Sweet, jammy, fully developed flavor. Oh, that's so yummy. Something that's been really difficult with these boysenberries is that I planted them, and these are, in most places in the country, an invasive species. Now, thankfully here we're pretty dry, so they can't find purchase as easily as they do in the Pacific Northwest, like Oregon, Washington, places like that, where they just grow like crazy. But they're totally invading my blueberries over here. You'll notice here where I originally planted them by the fence, we took them out of there. And yet they still keep cropping up. They're cropping up in the middle of our oranges, and they're climbing and using our mandarins as a little scaffolding for themselves. So these things really, you plant them and make sure you got them in a place that you want them, because they will run and crop up in other places. Now, truth be told, even though these are growing wild right here, and I don't really want them in this space, when I see all the extra berries that are there, I'm not entirely angry that it's there. So once the berries come off, then I'll rip them out. Until then, I'm going to enjoy the berries. Something different that I've done this year compared to other years is I've really done a good job of putting and training these along the trellis wire, and just wrapping it around. So even if there are 2 or 3 berry plants coming up, I'm just wrapping them all around. And this has made it a lot easier to pick. Last year, we had a ton of vegetative growth, tons of thorns. To even look at the berries, we had to keep lifting up these things. And you can see just these berries hanging here like crazy. I got this idea when I went berry picking up in Oregon last year. I'm gonna go again this year. It's gonna be good. I'll do a video probably then too of these gorgeous, gorgeous berry fields. But doing this method where I just kind of loop it along the wire exposes the fruit, keeps you from having to wear gloves to come out here and harvest, because all the berries are exposed. Gonna make it a lot easier this time. Now my trellis is split in half. This half, the first half that I've been showing you, is all boysenberries. These are ready to harvest right now. But kind of using that successive ripening idea, keeping that in mind, here we have our triple crown blackberries, and you can see that these are just flowering and have some very immature fruit on them that are going to be ready probably, I don't know, in another month or so. So it's nice to come out and have a couple of months of solid berry picking. A lot of fun to come out here and do that. Hey Michelle.
Yes?
What are we going to do with all these berries? What's the hope?
On Wednesday, I'm hoping to make a homemade boysenberry pie.
On Wednesday, I hope to eat a homemade boysenberry pie. Let's get picking. There's so much on here. How are we doing over here so far?
Probably 2 cups?
Two cups so far. Awesome. So good. Let me see what you have in your hand. Do you get a good one? All right, put it in there.
With you guys.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Busy Gardener channel. Still have a whole lot of berries yet to pick. What are some things that you do with boysenberries? If you made any kind of pie, maybe you've got a recipe you can put in the comments down below. I'd love to check out your stuff, new ideas. We may have enough berries to do more than just a pie. Hey, and hey, we'd love for your subscription. If that's your thing. If you don't care to subscribe, that's okay too. But if you think we've earned it, we'd love it. Love to have you be part of this community. So, whether you've got 1 tree in your orchard or 500, until next time,
Stay busy.
Stay busy. Let me see the... Yummy.
Holy moly.
It's really good.
That's very good.